for all being on here. And remember, we are home of the. Let's go. We see you, Ella. Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Great to see you all on here. I've got a great show tonight. And yes, welcome to Home of the Boom. I'm your host, Wojo. We got a great guest tonight, man with a lot of knowledge, and Mr. William Nighthawk of Nighthawk High-strangeness will be on. Without further ado, I want to give my boy Richie, the Banter himself, the co-host and the greatest producer of all time. And hi, everybody. Great to see you. Let's go.
I am not the greatest producer of all time. Sam is.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam's back, so okay.
Oh, never mind. Matter of fact, speak of that, Sam. We had something come up in the back room with William's stuff linking to Restream. Could you pull up his links maybe and get them pumping out? Pump them out, y'all. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the home of the Bizoom. I love just setting the tone with falling on the ice and having Wojo land on my hip that I still feel. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just yes, yeah. I just think it's so much fun. I just even that, like it hurt like hell, but it was looking back at it, watching that video, it just kind of sets the tone. We're loose around here. We have a lot of fun. We're open-minded. We're gonna have some serious talks. We're gonna have some great emotions. We're gonna definitely laugh. We got a little bit of everything around here, and that's the beauty of it. And that intro right there was it was short and sweet, but kind of said it all to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just always Ella, man. Always Ella. We see you, girl. You want to just do
you notice so when I fell on you, you can see it's like I was going head first, and you can see me bounce completely right off you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I could see it. Yep, saw it, felt it, still feel it, still see it. It's really nice. I'm pretty sure all the phones go up towards the skies, looking for Jesus to help us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sam, I also put it in portrait and landscape. So if moderators out there, be on your toes. So thank you. Do you want to just welcome everybody in and just get at it? What do you want to do?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to thank everybody and welcome to the Banter with Richie B Podcast Network. We are worldwide. We love you all. Back to you, Bob.
Back to you, Jim. There we go. There's William Nighthawk. William Nighthawk's channel right there on YouTube, everybody. Check it out. We'll have it going a few times tonight. If you don't know who he is, definitely check him out, man. He's got a lot to offer a bunch of different communities, right, bro?
Yeah, William is a man with a lot of knowledge from the Native American culture, folks. So if you have any questions, just please capitalize and make it easy for Rich, because I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of questions. So you can ask, William anything you want. So it's going to be a great interactive. We are an interactive podcast. We love the critical thinking. So please sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. You want me to bring him on?
Yeah, let's bring William on.
Let's see what William's wearing tonight. William, what are you wearing? Yeah. Hey, William. That moment when you realize, oh, I probably shouldn't have done this. At least it happened early. At least it happens right away, bro.
Welcome, William. Welcome to the home of the boom. Thank you for coming on.
I don't let this. Okay, thank you for having me on here, guys. I appreciate it. We actually had a face-to-face contact since Dan channel.
Yeah, you're right. It was
there we go.
Benoit Benoit. I see you and hear you. Don't throw anything. We see you and hear you. Yeah, I can see your head moving.
Yeah, they're
oh yeah.
I right now that there is going to be technical all the whole podcast. And this always happens when I subject matter that we're going to get into tonight, especially with the with the brother, as I call him. I've always been one to try and get people and discern between the flesh and blood and the supernatural, and where they draw that line. They don't want me to just sit, and I'm here to do that tonight. So hope for the best.
Hey, we're here for it, bro. You come
Absolutely.
we come to the right place. Hey, cause check me out. Yo, right there, bro. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? If you're looking, big brother.
Bring it.
Yep. I went commando. Let's go.
Yeah.
What you got? Not scared.
Yeah, definitely not scared. We'll just rip right through and say hello to everybody.
No.
Okay.
We already discussed this.
Oh, so.
What the fuck? You think,
So.
All right. I'll do it quick. Sam, executive producers here. Hi, Sam. How are you? Good to see you. Pup Spikes. What's happening, Pup Spikes?
Hey,
Thank
Gary.
you for being here, and thank you for asking everybody to like and subscribe. That's very nice of you. Gene Tewksbury, what's happening? General Tidbits. The
Hey.
Carlozzi is here. Forget about it,
Gene.
huh?
Hey, Carlozzi.
Cryptid Fest, September 13th. You will catch Richie B and Wojo. If you want to meet us in person and you're local, come down and hang with us. We're not your everyday type of dudes, man. You can just chill with us. Grab a chair, bring a chair, sit next to us, be on the podcast. We will be airing live worldwide from that location. Mary Newbert, what's happening, Mary Newbert? I love you, girl. Let's see. David Lester, if I miss you, we are want to get to William, so we're not going to do lots of rock, paper, scissors with you tonight. Sorry. Hello, David Lester. How are you doing? Kurt W.
Hey,
W's here. How are you, W? Oh, look it. It's Kurt W. I just love saying W. Kurt? I love saying W.
So unfair. So unfair.
Yeah,
cruel and
loves
unusual
accents.
Denny-O, our boy Denny-O is here tonight.
What's up, Denny? Listen over here.
I'm walking over here.
Oh, no, he's falling over here. Never mind walking.
Oh, man. Falling over. Dude, wouldn't that have been great if he was the one who slipped on the ice on the way down and all the shit that would have come out of his mouth? That would have been epic.
Him and Anthony kept falling. I'm like, oh, my God, what's going on with the ground?
Yeah, they were confused. Dude, I don't think, by the way, so you guys know, Max actually pulled the tick out of my back. It was dug in, right? And he had the tweezers and everything, and he got it head and all. And that thing was buried. And just like a half hour ago. So it wasn't from that investigation. Not that they're there, obviously. I power wash for a living. I knock things off of buildings and they land on me. I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. I started kind of grabbing at it.
Yeah.
Like it was probably yesterday, and I started grabbing at it today. Not good. Back on the Doxy Shuffle, everybody. I think I'm just gonna snort that shit. Little doxycycline up the old nostril. I do not condone that behavior. We do not condone that behavior here at the Banter Richie B Podcast Network. I'm gonna have to fire myself if I keep this up. What's up, Ben? What's up, Ben?
Hello.
Melissa Lester. How are ya? Let's see.
He's got a full house.
D-Hoot.
Yeah, D-Hoot is in the hoot.
Dizzle Hizzy. Not William .0. I don't know if that's anything.
Oh, welcome. Well, not William.
Probably a bot.
Great to see you on here.
It could be a bot watching us because he's not William.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a not Banter Richie B? They wouldn't do that. They would know. Then we would know everything. Elite Platypus.
Not at all.
Hey, not William. Say you're not wearing any underwear if you're not a bot. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Great to see you on here.
Lemon Moon. Welcome to the show,
hey.
Lemon Moon.
What's going on, Lemon Moon?
Benno from Oz is here. William is so cool. Good morning, everyone. Just got to work. Boom. Wojo and Richie. This will be great.
Love you, bro.
He's in Australia. How are you? Autumn Meads. 9400. Hello, Autumn Meads.
Oh, Autumn. Thank you for being on here. Appreciate you.
Yep. And I see Vincent Fontaine. Hello, Mr. Vincent Fontaine.
Vinny.
Hey,
Great to
Vinny.
see you, Vincent.
So Fugazi. Lori Ladd, my friend Lori Ladd. Always good to see you, Lori Ladd. Lori Ladd. Hello, Lori Ladd.
Hello, Lori.
Previously possessed.
Hey, previously. Great to see you.
White says good evening, tuning in from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, one of the great states in the United States.
Great to see you, Steve.
Like me some Oklahoma. Martian coders. Martian coders. What's up? What's up? What's going on?
Happening? Thank you for being on here.
No, thank you. That rough terrain with mud is what Denny says. Oh, Richie, be careful. I hate them ticks. Yeah. This would be like my 10th. I'm on protocol, so I just call and they send in a script and it sucks, but whatever. Bounty Hunting Bear. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Bounty. Great to see you.
Bounty's here. Bounty's here. Bounty is everywhere. I think that's everybody. Yep, it is. And away you go.
All right. So, William, tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel.
All right. Well, I'm William Nighthawk. I'm a Lakota Cherokee. What Joshua call ourselves, a holy man. I'm also an ordained minister for the Native American Church and the Métis Church. And my father was full-blooded Oglala Lakota, and my mother was Cherokee and a smidgen of Shawnee in there. And I was basically had a near-death experience at the age of about 3.5, where my mother, at the time, I didn't realize it being so young, was a practicing Native and dark art, a medicine person. And when I grew up, after that near-death experience, that first one, she kind of took me under her wing and taught me all the dark art ceremonies of the indigenous culture. And I was literally raised into that. And it's saying I've got to reload the page now. I don't know. Go see you.
That's
Sam,
for your
good
chat.
to see you in there.
Just leave it alone.
Mary.
It'll go away.
No, you're all good, Rick.
And I'm going to turn the chat off, actually, if you guys don't mind. I won't be able to see it, but
we got you.
It might see what problems we're having in my mind.
I'll produce this show, William. Hey, William, will you turn off your chat, please? Thanks.
Okay. Let me
How'd
see.
I do?
Let me see. That help. Okay.
By the way, hey, Wes,
Make a long
great
story
to see you,
short,
bud.
I thought I saw Wes.
Make a long up on a highly paranormal charged property, a haunted house. Dealt with a lot of cryptid activity, experiences, dealt with the time growing up. Basically, you know, the bizarre and literally the unknown that people don't really comprehend and kind of like ignore it, that it exists. And now I am where I am today, a 3-time cancer survivor. My experience was during a 9.5-hour cancer, where my heart stopped. And, since that time, I was given 6 months to live, basically. And here I am a little over 5.5 years later. So there goes the grace to go live.
Well, William,
obviously. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, no, I'm very happy that you're overcoming the cancer, and many blessings for you and your family, and you're a fighter. You're a good man, and God willing, just keep going, man.
I've been. I guess I've been here for a purpose. I guess it's a completed yet. And here recently in of my life after the first diagnosis, kicked my game up a lot. And I started investigating the supernatural and the paranormal and the cryptid activity, and interacting with all three of those whole life, literal life, 62 years now. You know, you learn a lot, but you keep a lot to yourself, a lot to myself until just recently. And, I've been getting the information a little bit more out there, what I know about the flesh and blood, Bigfoot and Dogman and the other cryptids, and also supernatural aspect and connection to things. How about the 15 missing, UFO reverse signs recently that have been either unalived or missing? Information that I had military. I was in the United States Navy. Part of dealt with above sensitive and top secret clearance communications. So I was privy to sensitive information. Let's just put it that way. It would take probably an hour just to describe things that I have been through. My first physical flesh and blood Bigfoot in cage of about 10 years old. Riding motorcycles, dirt bikes. And my encounter with one was, I believe, the alpha of the group, the family unit that was there. And I was encounter. So, and never had a violent encounter with them, Wojo. Never had anything adverse happen except the one time, the hunt that they were on in this remote area. And ironically, it was right next to a stream. We were riding dirt bikes, and this branch came out of nowhere, lodged into my front spokes of my dirt bike, me over. And I looked up, and there he was standing there. And I knew he was flesh and blood because he was literally 25 feet away from me, 30 feet away from me. And probably every bit of 9, maybe 9.5 feet tall, 4 foot at the shoulders, flesh and blood. What he did was look at me, and he grinned. And he turned and looked to his left, and there was a second one there within probably 12 feet away from a doe that was laying down high grass. So I know that I interrupted their hunt because through the branch, and basically to get me to stop. So, but that's the only bad encounter with them. Okay. My encounter with him, the alpha, was a few years later when I did my humblation, my vision quest, my ceremony, get wisdom and gather, medicine, spiritual, which ironically I held right by the same creek that I was riding the motorcycle at. And I was within the vision quest. And when you on these vision quests as a native person, your bare essentials. You can have a knife with you, you can have your clothes on your back, you can have a gauge of water to drink, and that's pretty much it. Okay. No tent, no nothing. You sit inside your medicine circle, and you sing and you meditate, and do that continually until the elders come and the medicine people come to say you're done. And I had some pretty powerful connections during that ceremony. And when the medicine and removed me from the circle and gave me his blessings and stuff, something told me to look down at my feet, between my feet, and I was standing in about 3 inches of water from the stream. And I looked down at my feet, and there was this obsidian spearhead about 3.5 inches long that was at between my feet, and it was like it was placed there on above everything. And it was not new. It was an older obsidian. It looked like it was brand new. Something to look to my right, and there to my right on the other side of the shore, on the bank of the stream, stood this big alpha standing there in the shadows. It literally told me that he was proud of me, basically, for completing one of the tasks that I was meant. And ever since then, it's been heightened type of a connectivity to him and to his entire family, his entire. But that's the physical. Growing up, I had a lot of encounters with what we call elements. Okay, we call trickster spirits. You know them being called demons. You know them as being called shapeshifters. You know them as being called fallen angels. Okay, because they are supernatural beings that are connected to Mother Earth and to all the elements that encompasses our world. Okay, because our world is not completely a physical world. Our world is a supernatural element. Okay, it was made from a supernatural being. Okay, it was made from a being that is older than time itself. Okay, and the elements within it, the earth, the fire, the wind, and the water, they all have a connection to what a lot of people are seeing and experiencing out there. When you see shadow movements, you're seeing legitimate figures, but natural realm. Okay, a lot of people want to put it in the paranormal category, and that's fine. They can. It's paranormal because it's normal. It's not flesh and blood, but the same you guys are experiencing out there in the woods where you're at is kind of what I've been experiencing around here. And I've had a lot of Mothman activity too lately. I don't know if you all have seen.
Have not. Know of.
I have not. Fortunately, thank God. Excuse me, William. It's quite the story. Obviously, you were watching one of our lives where Richie saw the shadows, and then kept seeing it move and move, and then we see the light. You know, the energy that they're giving off, and he's like, "Take a picture," and I took the picture, and everyone knows what we see. And I think you said the old man of the woods. You know, we've been out there for like 2 years now and stuff like that. Like, why do they want to communicate? What is their like message to people, you know, that are having these encounters?
Well, the message can be diverse to Tom, but the first thing and foremost they want people to understand is that when you walk in this life, when you walk out into their, okay, they were here long before they were the first. So to do it, and you know, we have a saying, you know, in the Lakota, in the Oglala Lakota culture, that we're to be humble and as low, being humble. When all that water comes together, we can move mountains, you know. And that's the way that I've always kind of lived my life when I dealt with these beings, these entities, even the flesh and blood, because flesh and blood cryptids that you're dealing with something that is an old bloodline. Okay. And that bloodline is a direct descendant from the spiritual bloodline that people are seeing. Okay. You have to look at it as in this manner. And the only way I can really describe it, where people understand where I'm coming from, is the Book of Enoch. Okay, the Book of Enoch, and realize that there is a connection between the Nephilim mind virus, is what I call it. Okay, and a lot of people think that the Nephilim and all that are associated with the fallen angels. Yes, they are the descendants of the fallen angels, the ones that didn't get unalived during. And I say that, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Ones that didn't get unalive during the flood, their spirits are still here. Spirits are trapped in certain elements, physical elements. Okay, what you guys call demons and the demonic is exactly what that is Nephilim mind virus. Okay, being half flesh and half supernatural, or divine actually, because they were fallen angels, gives them that ability to possess humans. Okay, and it also gives them that ability to possess anything that is in the physical form, including animals. Okay, wildlife. The light that you see in this picture here that Richie has up, very famously shows you the face. Okay, but what you're seeing here also is what the Chinese call the chi. Okay, it's and you're seeing basically their soul force, their life force, their energy that encompasses them, that give the ability to shift into from supernatural physical form. Okay, these beings have always been here. Okay, they know more about humanity than humanity knows about themselves, and that's the one thing that I try to explain to people. When you're dealing with cryptids out there, and you're dealing with what you deem as a flesh and blood, there's certain criteria that you have to meet, certain markers you have to look for to discern the difference between the flesh and blood cryptids, the physical, to the supernatural, or like the possessed cryptid. Okay, and you get into the like the Mothman with the dark glowing red eyes, that are like headlights. And you deal with certain odors, okay, a certain feeling that the human body responds to that is more of a difference in vibration, frequency, which is why you guys feel such a connection to these entities out there. Okay, you're feeling their frequency, you're feeling their vibration, because they are so in tune with the land. They get their they get their abilities to shift off of water. They get their abilities to shift off of certain trees. I've always said the pine tree, the elm tree, the oak tree, they are all major trees that they use to shift. And I'm talking the entity, okay? I'm talking the elementals. I'm talking trickster spirits, okay, that people don't want to believe exist. And they do exist. They do exist. But at the same time, so does the flesh and blood and bone cryptid. Okay. So yeah, go ahead.
No, like William. So like there've been times like me and Richie been out in the woods and there'll be like no wind whatsoever. But when you go in the woods, it's just like a different. I don't know. It's like a time travel because all of a sudden you get windy and you get gusts of wind and it's like wait a minute, it wasn't like this before. They didn't say it's going to be like 20-mile-per-hour winds and things like that. You kind of wonder if they are talking to us. So what do you think, Rich? Between
with
the
what?
energy out in the woods and
Well, for me, I don't know. I'm a bit more of a sensitive, so I kind of, well, we feel it when we approach, and there's different energies, I believe, in the woods, They react differently to different people as well. Some feel anxiety. Some kind of have more control over it, so it's a little more balanced. You know what I mean? And you kind of know which way to go with it. It was nice to, like, for instance, having Max out there with us. He was staying in tune with the energies of the woods, which I thought was, as a dad, I was very proud of. And then when we saw the lights moving around, and I asked him what he felt, and he said, I felt so calm. And it was the same answer it was the same answer we got from everybody. And now here's a 15-year-old teenager, and Max has had his own experiences with ghosts and things in his room, and he had an imaginary friend when he was a kid, So he's
Here's the thing with Max, Richie.
Yep.
Here's the thing. I can tell you this right now because I can sense it. Max is going to continue with what you're doing, but he's going to come a time where he's going to step away from it for a little bit. I can guarantee it. Okay. But he's going to return to it because he's going to know that there is a supernatural to what you and Wojo and everybody have experienced there, including what Max has experienced. That calmness that you talk about. You see, these entities, these elementals, these trickster spirits and stuff, these beings have good and bad because our world is literally based on duality. Okay, you can't have the dark without the light. You can't have good without, you can't have hot without cold. I mean, it's literally a duality world. And when you deal with some of these entities, these beings so ancient, and they know that you're going to be respectful, and you're doing respectful manner, like tobacco offerings or a gifting spot, honor them. They're going to lay down symbols out of the stuff that you and the new stuff that they add. They're going to put them in a symbolic manner to try and teach you, kind of like sign language. Okay. And that's the only way I can just, okay. That's why I sent you both all the angelic script that I have.
Yep. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you for always looking after us. And
yeah, right.
And this is why we have such a great community and others in the indigenous people, helping us and being part of this community and being part of this journey, because it is like it is a teaching lesson that we all learn. But also to go back what Richie's saying about Max. I didn't tell you this, Rich, but there's a little additive that your son did say, is that he goes, I just feel, he said it again. And he was like, I just feel so calm. He goes, even my ADD is just, right now, it's just so slowed down. I'm like, wow. I mean, that's a pure calmness right there.
Oh, I know. For a person who has that, because I pass these beautiful things on to my children, they get ADD is a superpower, by the way. But they do get allergies as well. You're welcome, kids. I love you.
Exactly.
But ADD, I know what he means by that. Because when before we started kind of opening up more, right? Because that's what we're doing, is we're opening up. We're allowing them in as they are allowing us in. And they know that. And that's why we get more of an open frequency, as Denny put it, frequency. I could feel that as a sensitive. So what happens for me is now things become categorized. For somebody with ADD, that's unheard of. But when I go into the woods, remember before, Wojo, everybody's telling me, slow your body down. And Elder Medicine was telling me, slow my body, slow everything down. I didn't even know what you guys meant. I was so erratic, and wires being crossed, and ADHD was kicking in at over 50. There isn't much H in the ADD at my age, trust me, But it was just like everywhere. What the fuck? Jesus, fuck. And then I got to slow it down and take a little more control. And I know exactly what Max meant by that statement, is that everything becomes like this. Boom, categorized, right? Mm-hmm. Like when we were tracking the picture that we just had up and we watched, I was so poised. I got excited afterwards, but it was a normal excitement. It was a normal reaction, right? I mean, am I seeing what I saw, right? We come no harm, right? Same thing, right? You don't have ADD, I do. But it was a normal reaction because I was so calm and methodical. We are not calm, methodical people. So I wish you had said that to me, but I'm glad you passed that on because that's a big tell for me. That helps bring me up a level to understand that, he basically taught me something through you right now, here on live, because I understood exactly what he meant. That's
Because
crazy.
he was like, because he became, I'd never seen him, meaning Max, super focused. He was paying attention to the surroundings. He heard what I heard when we head to the Folly. You guys were checking out a print, and I heard a hop in the woods. You guys that are on the live heard that too. And Max looked at me, and I looked at him, and he goes, "Did you hear that?" I go, "Yeah." And we were both doing this, and you guys were just you, Denny, and Anthony was still, you guys didn't hear it, but we both heard it. And I'm like, I've never seen him so tuned in.
Yeah. No, he was dialed in. You just froze up. Everybody still here? William's here. Yeah. Wojo just froze up. Yeah, you froze up.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
still here.
what is. We know
I'm
what.
still here.
Yeah, we know what's going on, but to touch on what William said, if I may, about Maddox, he's right on with that. I've had this discussion with Maddox. I've told Maddox, he's like, "What do you mean David gets the Mustang?" That's what he said. That's what he said to me. And I said, "Well, David's my firstborn son. He gets the '86 convertible. Settle down, guy." I said, but you. I said, you get the podcast and all my research. You get everything else. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah, you're the one. I already know. I said, it's not because you're here and active. And he did take a break for a while, William. And he's going to probably take another one, as you said. And it wasn't, I said, it's not because you're here. It's not because you've been present with me in the woods. It's not because you have experiences with Bigfoot and you more than likely believe. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I said, it's because I could feel it right here.
Right.
That you're chosen like me. And that's what I said to him. You can ask him. That's the exact conversation I had with my son less than 2 months ago.
And look
in his room.
Look where your hand was, Richie. Look where you just put your hand on your chest. Same place that the light source from the Bigfoot was.
Damn right. That's my boy right there. And not just Max. I'm talking about the Bigfoot. I mean, that was a huge, huge gift, as you know, William. That was given to us. That we were entrusted in that, entrusted to spread
the best
that
thing
view
that anybody,
and that vision.
Yeah, the best. Yep. Anybody can do if they're going out Bigfoot. David and Melissa know this, and several other people that know me in the chat. I can't see the chat, so I can't respond.
We got you.
But they know that the first thing you have to do, the first thing you have to literally make that connection. Okay, you have to take your left hand and go up to the first pine tree or the first oak tree or elm tree that you see on your property, or maple, and put your hand on it. Just hold it there for a few moments, okay? And just kind of, give your greeting. Let them know that you want to experience in a good way with them, okay? What you're doing is a path for communication, okay? Now, like I said previously, when you're with these elemental spirits, these shape-shifting entities that are part of the environment, you have to remember that humanity has turned its back on and gone more towards the technology aspect of things. Okay, so humanity has failed to gather over the 1,000 years. They've gained. Okay, so they've obviously enhanced their abilities because of the energy from the environment that they live in. Okay, and the supernatural realm. These realms are real. There are, there's 7, 9, 11 realm or parallel universes or whatever they want to call it. The Bible depicts that there's 11 levels of heaven. Okay. I'm here to tell you that there's probably close to more like 17 of those levels. And based on the power that these beings have, the abilities that they have, depends on the level that they descend from. Because remember, the descent that they're taking to come to our physical wave, it's not an ascent, okay? They're actually losing out by us. You're feeling that connection every time, because the power they have, the abilities that beings, these entities have, goes above and beyond anything that science can deem is right. They can shapeshift. They can make your mind think you're seeing things. Them show me Bigfoot standing in front of me, no more than 30, and at a red fox, or a coyote in front of me. They have that ability to put that thought, show you things that, to show you things that you're used to seeing, to kind of make you feel comfortable, or to make you feel, depending on how they interpret your intentions.
Real quick, just want to say a quick hi to Sparky. It's great to see you, bud. Glad to see you up and about, Vale. Unsilver Engineer, Z Sun Dragon, Marcy, Jack, Appenwalt. I don't know. I hope I pronounced it right. Sorry, Jack. And if there's anybody else I missed, I apologize. D, who's got a question for you? She's asking, what about the other lights? They seem to have different things behind them. What's their connection with one another, if any?
That is what you're seeing there, energy source that they come through. Okay. You're seeing the elements in rare form at its finest, giving off that energy is what you're seeing. You think of the Brown Mountain Light. Think about that. Okay. And the Native American legends there are so many things going on that we warned the non-indigenous community that came here from other areas of the world about to ignore. Okay. They made the choice to ignore our warnings, on how to treat the ground that they walk on Makawakan, Sacred Mother Earth. Okay. They ignored those warnings. Okay. Look at the Roanoke Island. Perfect example. Okay. Everybody talks about how their society disappeared, Well, some of it was bad and some of it was good. Okay. Depending on the way that these spirits, these entities, and even physical cryptids interpreted their feelings, their emotions towards them and the land. If you can understand that. But what you're seeing here is literally the energy. Some people call it portals. Okay. Others call it, somebody else, in their family unit standing behind them. Okay. It just depends. I've seen them in different colors. If it's the color red or the color yellow, and I mean like a fiery color, or an orange, like an orange is yellow, that's not a good entity. That shows you something that is more malevolent about that entity, that being. Okay. If it's a white light, a golden light, or like a greenish type of an aqua colored light, then you're dealing with more of a type of an entity that's going to be more receptive to being cordial to you. Okay. More respectful, as long as you're respectful. Okay. That's the way you can discern some of these entities, some of these beings. Because even in the book of Enoch and in the other books that the missing Apocrypha, it talks about how angels, take the book of Adam and Eve. Okay. A lot of people don't believe Adam and Eve had a book, but you know what? That's on them if they want to. But there's a section where Adam and Eve got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Okay. And basically, the book that God, the Creator, gifted them upon being kicked out of the Garden of Eden to survive and to study and to have faith in, was a way for Adam and Eve to kind of possibly, maybe, if they couldn't get back into the Garden of Eden under the protection of the Creator, they could at least experience some kind of a normalcy and a safe life outside of the Garden of Eden. Okay. Well, that book was stolen and thrown into the oceans, the deepest part of the oceans, by a fallen angel. Okay. Because of basically its belief that Adam and Eve they didn't want, humanity to survive. Okay. But when the Creator called upon a certain angel to come down from the heavens, which i.e. is the levels of heaven, the dimensions, the parallel universes, whatever you want to call it, that's what it is. Okay. Multiple names for the same thing around the entire world. That's another thing that I always try to tell people. But this angel came in the form of an aqua green glowing light orb. Okay. That's one of the things and reasons why I know that when you're dealing with certain colors of orbs, you're dealing with angelic entities, divine energy. Okay. If you want to call it an angel, call it an angel. If you want to call it, a demon, call it a demon, but it's up to you. You have to have the abilities to discern it for yourself. Okay. And, if anything, I referred to Wojo today to John 14, verse 12, and basically it says, that as I do these things, and this is Jesus talking to the disciples, he says, you shall do these things too, and even greater things. Okay. So we have this innate ability by the grace of the Creator to do these things too. Okay. As long as we have faith that we can get these things accomplished. Okay. And have the ability to discern the difference between the flesh and blood and bone, like I said previously, to the supernatural. And it's really not that difficult to understand how our world is literally physically connected by multiple conduits to the supernatural realms. It's really fascinating if you think about it.
So, Rich, what do you think about these the lights and the colors, and all the?
I'm eating my cheeseburger.
I couldn't tell. Sorry, pal. I thought you were just sitting there.
Did you bring it up for everybody?
I did actually. Too bad you guys can't get to it. Oh well, more for me. Anyways, no. During the shows, my lovely Jessica, Miss Jessie B, as you guys might know her, always brings me meal. Always a meal. So I always encourage everybody, if you sit down with us, have a dinner, please. Have something to drink. Bring your popcorn. Enjoy yourself. This is like your living room and your home too, right? Mm-hmm. The lights. I'm starting to learn the colors and things like that as we go, But a lot of it for me is feel. A lot of it for me is, the instincts and knowing my body and knowing when my body's trying to talk to me. I've seen some colors out there that have gotten my attention. And William, maybe you could touch on this. And I don't associate it with the term tricksters or anything like that. Not this particular subject I'm about to bring up. But sometimes I get those lights and I look at it and it's one of the telling lights where it's a negative, right? And I'm like, nah. Or they tells me it's a soft light, a gentle light. And I'm like, nah. I think for me, and I think everybody kind of sees them differently, to be honest with you, but that's a whole different subject. I think for ones that I see and when I'm looking, it is how we perceive it, right? Especially with colors. So, but for me, I'm like, no. And I've watched it a few times, and I've kept a lot of this quiet. Some parts I'll keep quiet until I know 100% I can share it, And I'm not 100%, but since you're on the show, I'll share it. I know that light is disguising itself. Have you ever had something like that? In other words, like a yellowish green, and I'm looking right at it, and I'm like, nah. And then it's a fiery orange, and I'm like, yeah, I knew it, you mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on to you, bro. Like, I don't know if they're testing me personally. It feels like that.
What that is you're seeing the raw emotion from the entity. You're experiencing like us going from a happy moment to an angry moment. Okay, us, having triggers. Sometimes, when a demon or a fallen angel, when it comes into your life, or an elemental when it comes into your life, is more try and present itself in a good way. Okay, they're not going to come in, claws out, and fangs out, and want to rip your intestines out. They're not going to be that. They're going to want to see how you perceive them, and if they can pull the wool over your eyes. Okay, and sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes when you deal with these beings, you say a white light or a yellow or a golden light, and then you say something wrong, like mention the name Jesus and see what happens. Okay, that's about the best thing I can tell you, because as soon as these beings, they have to give. Yeah, I mean, and watch what color it goes to. These beings literally are so energetic and charged with that supernatural entity, that divine and sacred energy, from environment and from the divine realm, that they can't mask their levels of energy, their intensities. Okay, intensity is a good way to put it. Okay, so when they get angry or upset, they're going to get more of a violent color, or you're going to see of a jerky, violent reaction. Okay, you're going to have things happen, thrown. You're going to have, and I'm not just talking pebbles and small branches and stuff. I'm talking you're going to hear loud booms, and I don't mean to take away from your word there, Wojo, but you're going to hear things that are going to sound like thunder and lightning striking. You're going to feel that spine that you have, just all the hair standing up on the back of your neck, and that sensation going, telling you that there's a warning, there's a reason for you to have that feeling. Okay, that's one of the markers. Okay, and you always have to be careful with that. Okay, they will try to deceive you if they are a trickster type of an entity. Okay, and the only reason my people and other indigenous cultures call them tricksters is that's, we didn't have a word for like demon or devil or Satan, or really, we have, we categorized it as best as we could. And another thing I want to make very, very clear, everybody, when you deal with the indigenous people's culture in America, okay, in parts of Canada, and even parts of South America, you're dealing with a bloodline. Okay, you're dealing with a sacred bloodline that somebody and somehow the bee from the darkness are trying to silence, as you can tell by the technology problems that we always have when we discuss these topics. Okay, so when we speak about these things, there's going to be either three outcomes. Either we're going to be able to communicate it to other people so they're aware, we're going to be, or we're going to be missing. Okay, but I guarantee every encounter you have, be it good or bad, there's going to be water nearby, there's going to be a certain type of a tree nearby. Is the energy the supernatural uses to get to and from this world. You look at a map of all of the majority of the sightings of any cryptid. You can Bigfoot, any paranormal phenomena, hidden aquifers. You're going to find underground streams. You're going to find lava tubes. Okay, you're going to find systems. You're going to find all these things interconnected. Okay, and why do you think our own government doesn't want its citizens to have mineral rights to dig upon their properties? Think about Skinwalker Ranch. Okay. That they were told never to dig there. Okay, think about it. Because you're digging at Mother Earth's belly. Okay, going to offend whatever elemental spirits that are connected to that land. And when I say elemental spirits, can we categorize that as basically possible? Can we categorize fallen angels as alien? Yeah, because you have your good and you have your bad. Okay, it's all on how we perceive things, how we interpret things, and how we name things. And like I said in the beginning, guys, we name things multiple things because of different graphical regions, different linguistics, okay, languages, and that's why we as indigenous people always drew pictures of what we encountered. Think about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, Elder, great to see you on here.
I thought I saw her earlier. Did she leave and come back? Is that what happened? I could have sworn I saw her earlier.
I wasn't sure if I saw her.
She wasn't in my podcast studio again, were you, Elder? Probably your house messing with your phone. Are you trying to ask a question? Yeah, I'm not letting you. Bryce has a
question, I see.
Yeah. See that? I put it up there. See how I put it up there so you can see it, William?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Bryce is like a little brother to me, by the way, guys. He is a phenomenal young man. And after I'm gone, trust me, he's going to be one of the go-tos you guys are going to need to go to. Because what I talked to him about, and I've tried to tell through our messages and stuff, he's been one to really understand or want to understand what he's experiencing too on his property. And what he's experiencing is pretty much the same thing that you all are experiencing, and then some. Okay, he's dealing with both too, just like you guys are. So
no coincidences on this show, on this network. We're all intertwined, and
exactly
wearing it, and the whole world is intertwined. We're just a really good highlighted example to carry that message, and people have to notice it. And that's what we're doing. And we carry the message, and we talk to people. We try to tell them that, and we have no bones about it, man. I'm not worried about being called crazy. I don't give a shit. Everybody, I'm bulletproof. I already told everybody that. You know what I mean? So, they can call me whatever. I'm just sharing What's that, brother?
I said, no weapon formed against me will prosper.
That's right. Exactly. You heard the man. But Brother Nighthawk, is what Bryce says. Is there a certain type of tree that they use more so than others?
Yes.
And what type would that be,
and
why?
The first tree on that list, guys, is going to be the pinyon pine tree, or the pine tree family. And I tell you that because there is a connection to human pine tree, and it's called DNA. The pinyon pine tree is the only tree that has been found out that has DNA markers that can marker and mimic humanity's DNA. Okay, so that makes it a special connection to not only us as humanity, but to the land and Mother Earth. Okay, which these entities are a part of and get their energy from. So there's that connection. Okay. But the pine tree family is a big one. Another one. Here's the thing. You know, oak trees never used to grow here back in the old days, like thousands of years ago. Okay, they were brought here by a certain group of individuals that some of you know, and it starts off on a little island, okay, off of Nova Scotia, I believe, called Oak Island.
Oak Island,
And,
baby. That's my show.
Okay.
Watch it
Yep.
every Tuesday. I'll be watching it tonight.
Well, here's the thing about Oak Island, okay, and I'm going to disclose something to you guys that most people probably don't know. Oak Island, there's nothing there. Okay,
Nothing.
There's no Ark of the Covenant there. There's no
treasure,
Templar treasure there, except maybe bits and pieces that were, you know, dropped or something along the, you know, lines that were moving it. But in 70, our founding fathers of America used that treasure to fund the revolution.
Interesting. And that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense to me with the story and the history that I know about the Templars and stuff. And we could get way on a rant about this. Because that's one of the biggest studies I have in my life is the Templars. And that makes sense, you know, because a lot of people don't understand that. And I try to tell them that the Knights Templars are the founding fathers of this country. That whole, I should say that whole.
Why do you think, Christopher Columbus had the Templar cross on his sails? You know, Christopher Columbus was part of that, even though he didn't discover America. Okay, here. Okay, I'll explain that here in a minute too. He knew that there was going to be a way to move the Templar treasure and what the secrets that they had to and he was searching for that safe haven back in 1492. Okay, so it would make sense that he would fly the Templar cross. Okay, and it would make sense that Spain would finance him to do that.
Correct.
Who went after the Templar Knights but the King of Spain?
Yep. Yeah, and one thing I believe, with maybe an afterthought of that, is that they used Christopher Columbus as a distraction. I believe that in the history books, they directed everybody to his, because they didn't want anybody to know. It was a secret society. And it was secret because they were being hunted. It was a secret for survival society. Yeah. And they, here's a funny thing a lot of people don't know either. One of the last places over on that side of the ocean they were seen at is actually Scotland. And I know there's a lot of Spain and Portugal and all that. They were everywhere. People don't, and they still are. And people don't realize that in Scotland, if you draw a straight line from Scotland and you go straight through the ocean to the other side, guess where you end up? Does anybody know? Nova Scotia, right? Right? Oak Island, right. Nova Scotia. Yep. What does Nova Scotia mean? New Scotland. It means New Scotland. It means New Scotland. If you go back into history and follow a straight line, you end up in Scotland. Boom. New Scotland. It's as easy as pie. But to hear the treasure being used for the revolution is just, that's brilliant, man. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. And as you can see, for
truth. It's truth. It really is. And the way I can tell you that you know, when I talk about the trees that these beings use, that these entities use, and even the flesh and blood ones use them, tree resource. The flesh and blood Bigfoot and cryptids use the pine tree because of its vitamin C, its innate ability for natural shelter, its ability to feed from pine cones and the actual pine needle for vitamin C's and stuff and for nourishment in harsh times. They follow waterways because water is the conduit of supernatural. They know that connection from being flesh and being connected to the environment. Okay. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, with cryptids, you deal with paranormal activity, you deal with missing people. What's always nearby? You've got water, you've got weather, okay, which produces a lot of paranormal activity and supercharges the paranormal field, okay? Lightning, rain, wind, it's all in the book of Enoch. People just haven't made that connection. And the other thing is, the areas that you guys are in and that I'm in, I've already uncovered that there is an Appalachian Triangle, okay? And literally, the majority of the stuff that's been happening has been like from basically the Pine Barrens on down over to Point Pleasant in West Virginia, on down into the temple areas of Georgia and Florida areas, okay? That's where the majority of missing people happen, the majority of cryptid reports happen, the more unusual UFO activity happens, lights in the sky, orbs.
Oh, yeah.
Shadow people. That's okay. And then you have the Devil's Triangle that off the coast of Florida, okay, where you have all the missing ships, the missing airplanes and all that. You have the Alaskan Triangle. You have the Bridgewater Triangle. You have the Great
yes, you do.
Lakes Triangle. You got to think about this stuff, guys, because there is this, that is the same thing that I have been describing since day one about portals and gateways from their realm into the physical realm. Okay. That is whatever you want to call it, whatever your heart's content with to calling those realms that we can't see. Well, I can see, unfortunately, because I deal with it every day of my life. Those realms are called multiple things. Like I said, it's called the levels of heaven. It's called interdimensions, the parallel universes. It's just labeled different things to confuse us. That's all it is. Okay. The powers that control this world, physical world, want humanity confused. They want humanity afraid. Why? Because they base their strength and their resources of being able to do things off of your fear and your being able. That's exactly what it is. Hollywood, I mean, come on. You know. Okay. If you believe and I hate to say this because I'm not a flat earther per se, but I am one to believe that the earth is not okay. It's not. I'm sorry, but if you put water on a basketball and you spin the basketball, what happens to the water? You know, that's just me. Okay. I'm not a flat earther though. I believe more shaped like a football. Okay. And that we have a separation, okay? And that NASA and the Smithsonian and several other organizations, government controls, or the nefarious cabal, shadow government controls that even regulates and lets the certain things and stuff about the UFO disclosure and the cryptid field and paranormal stuff. Why do you think they have such a tight rein on all that? They want to pull in. They don't want people finding out and like me divulging things out there that exist because they don't want you all to know that possibility is there. Okay. So that's why they have NASA and the Smithsonian and all these other places. Okay?
Right.
If they didn't think, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up that one. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I think you stopped.
I was just gonna say that if we don't believe that if we believe NASA is sending rockets to the moon or to Mars, then I got some good farmland in the swamp that I really did.
I'm in. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, the economy.
I mean, it's
I gotta get what I can.
Yeah. The best part about this way of thinking is you have to think way outside the box. You got to quit thinking of what you were taught in school. First off, okay, school is an indoctrination. and that's all it
I
is.
agree.
It's an
Easy
Totally
indoctrination.
now.
agree.
Okay,
Easy now.
so
Yeah. Yeah, that's well put, because I think NASA's full of shit.
Wow,
You know,
Wojo. Jeez. No, bullshit. I was surprised that came out of you. Oh, you froze again. That's
sorry,
all.
no, but let's go. Just what I think NASA's controlling me right now.
Yeah, NASA just
Yeah,
shut you up. Real
just
quick
shut me up. Yep.
before you wrap up, because we're getting long. But how many dimensions or dimensions, according to Sunga, are there, Nighthawk?
I say there's probably at least 17.
Oh, why such a specific number, if I may ask, sir? That's from me. I'm eating chips.
Because when you think about all the biblical interpretations and all the scientific data, I believe science is even a thing anymore, to tell you the truth. Think about everything that's been happening and all the different entities and supernatural things that are happening. There's got to be 7 levels to heaven or 11 levels to heaven. Okay, which is what people are calling dimension. On my podcast, I usually have this map I put up, and it shows you the certain levels of heaven. I think I sent Wojo the picture of that. I'm not sure though, but it shows you the 7 or 9 levels of heaven describes in the Bible. But I think when we're dealing with something, I think we're dealing with not only the dimensions, but we need to have above and beyond that, because things are infinite. Things are constantly changing. Okay, things constantly growing. They say that the universe is growing exponentially. Okay, but just as fast as those levels grow, those black to close them down. Okay, there is meant to be a certain amount of dimensions. Now it could be 11. I could be completely wrong. I say 17 because that is a number that has been reoccurring in a lot of my research that I've done about the dimensions and the levels of heaven. Okay. And it's just my theory, from my own research over the last 7 years. But most of my life I've been dealing with these things. And it just makes sense to me that there's more than just what's dictated to us.
Well, I just want to follow up on that. One of our very brilliant, what do I want to say, family members, he is correct. 17. String theory requires 10 dimensions, while M theory suggests 11, with extra 6 dimensions curled up on tiny scales. Dude,
Exactly.
do you know? Nighthawk? Do you know BMO?
I've seen him in the chat and I've spoke to him in the chat. Yeah.
Dude,
They're right on the money with that. They're right on the money.
Listen, between the two of you, I'm sold. 17 it is. That's right, Jim. We got 17 dimensions over here at the home of the boom. Back to you, Wojo.
Oh my God, I'll tell you that. This is why this is like great knowledge that we have here. And William, I got like 2 last questions for you before you wrap up, real quick.
Oh,
When you a when you were in the Navy,
that's one.
was there any like top secret? I mean, like, did you like witness any UFOs or have any?
Or did you have UFO knowledge? I think is what you're referring to with D Hoot's question. But go ahead.
Let me put it to you this way: when I was in the Navy, I used to sit out on off the side of the carrier I was on, and it was the USS Coral Sea was on, and it was originally designed to be the world's largest battleship, but they put a flight deck on it and an island, and it was a little less than 1,000 feet long.
What the?
But I used to sit out there and I'd see things coming out of the water. Some things were objects, round in shape, like a lot of the orbs that have been seen, the metallic orbs that have been seen.
Damn.
A lot of it was things that, well, let me just say this.
Okay.
Killer whales and dolphins are
Uh-oh.
probably more angelic than what we understand.
Oh,
I'm just going to put that out there.
that's cool. I was thinking you were
Yeah.
going to say when you were in the Navy, they had sails.
No, but we did walk the plank.
You got 7 years on me, man. I got to take advantage any way I can.
And one last question there, Bubble. It's in all this. I got to ask one last question, Bubble Boy. I'm sorry. Is why that we do have UFO connection. I mean, why is the UFO connections with the Bigfoots? That a lot of people have been having, somewhat we're having too. Why are the Greys or the aliens around?
Okay. First thing I want to make very clear to everybody, when you're dealing with the gray aliens or dimensional aliens, you got to understand that some of these are shooters. Okay, they can present themselves any way they want to. Okay,
Oh yeah.
and even the gray aliens here, and it's been reported that they've been seen with Bigfoot on the ground stealing resources from the earth, certain minerals and stuff like that. I can't disclose where or by who, but it's a thing. Okay, but they take these shapes because they know you're not going to believe what you see, because we all know it is a big hoax. You know what I mean? It's a fraud,
Oh yeah.
and it's not. It
Oh.
really isn't. Okay, the force people are real. Okay, the flesh and
Right.
blood force people are real, and the supernatural elemental entities are real. Okay, but they know from our history of trying to deny these things exist that they can put these things out there, because most people that come across a 9-foot tall Bigfoot are going to be having a brown pants moment. Okay, and that's literally what it is. Okay, they use this dissension as kind of like a bodyguard tactic. Okay, so they can get away with things. Okay, that's why when you see reports of a UFO and maybe people report seeing a Bigfoot, kind of the beam coming from a UFO, sometimes it could be a holographic image. Sometimes it could be just a shape-shifting type of an alien, an extraterrestrial. And, when you think about it, that correlates with that old tales of a lot of the indigenous cultures had with these beings coming down from the heavens as looking like stars or lights in the sky. And then all of a sudden they change into a giant standing in front of them. And if you don't give them things or do things for them, they try to unalive you. There's a native people in South America that have that happen all the time. And I know from my research and other, people's research that have worked with me, that these beings are once called the fallen angels. They're the divine heavenly protectors of God's throne that ascend down looking like stars from heaven and change into these giant forms. Okay. So, I mean, the connection is there, but are you looking at a flesh and blood Bigfoot? I don't think so. I think you're looking at either a manipulation of the mind, or you're looking at a manipulation of them portraying themselves as a Bigfoot.
Right. Understood.
Well, thank you so much, William. Go ahead, Rich. You got something to say?
No. I just wanted to know what Songa meant. You watch too much TV. Maybe he doesn't watch enough TV. Yeah, that was very nice. Do you have a TV, Songa? All right.
Unbelievable. You get all kinds.
No.
You get all kinds out there. And I'm not forcing anybody to take my word for it. You'll find out. Plain and simple. You'll find out.
Yeah. Well, anyways, wait all that time to make a smart ass comment. I thought he was doing quite well. Well, you have a good time in Block City, baby. That's right, Jim. F you. Back to you, Wojo. Take that in your face. Right in your face.
Well, I just want to say, well, thank you
No,
for being
I
on.
want to say part 2's coming up with William.
Well, I was about to bring that up, but thank you, Rich.
That's
Let's do
right. Oh, sorry. I've had 5 rock stars. I'm tripping balls. Go ahead. Finish up your damn show, all right? Balls will be tripping.
Lori had a question.
No.
You talking about the aqua color?
What, the green orb one, Lori? I think so. I put it up a while ago. I don't know. Lori's gonna beat us up. I don't care. You don't. There's chill out. He's just in a timeout. Relax. I don't care if he's somebody's mother. Silly. They don't need to make comments like that and make a guest feel like whatever. There's no need for it. I don't care. Go talk to your friend, Elder. Let him know. Well, then tell him not to say that shit. I don't give a fuck who he is. How's that? That's all. Have a conversation. Give a fuck. I'll do what I want. Finish your show.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but anyways, just want to say thank you all for being on here, and William would have a part 2. Can't wait. Thank you for being on here, and thank you all for being on here, and just remember, don't be lazy. Serve the Lord enthusiastically. And if you want to look that up, that's Romans 12:11. And Rich, where did Richie go?
Yep.
Oh, we lost Rich.
Not sure.
I'm
going to get going too.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, everybody in the chat.
Well, again, thank you all for being on here.
Like I said, I question everything. That's it.
Hey, listen, we're here to have this debate, and I don't know what exactly just transpired, but you know what? Just keep it civil, everybody. That's all we ask for. Okay. So, remember, we are still home of the boom. Thank you, William. Thank you all for being on here. Love you guys. Catch you guys later.